Are you ready to be drafted into the U.S. Selective Service? Well, guess what? Whether you are a man or a woman, they are now setting us up to be drafted and be part of the U.S. military. I want to break down what's going on, but what bill just passed in the House of Representatives and why this bill, for some, is somewhat concerning. Because this means now that every 18 to 24-year-old male will automatically be registered for selective service, but women could be next.
Alright, so everybody is aware at this point about what's going on in Iran. Everyone is aware at this point that we are about to start World War III, but the one thing I don't think anyone is talking about is the fact that there's about to be a draft. And I am not saying that to fearmonger. I'm not saying that to be dramatic. I'm not saying that for any other reason other than logic. The country that we would be allied with is currently doing absolutely despicable, committing atrocities over in their lands, to the point where the entire world is protesting against it. They are not going to get the bodies they need to get on the ground or just for a war. They're not going to get the numbers that they need. They're already trying to recruit like crazy. That's not going to happen. So the only people that are going to be joining are going to be the mag gents. But the mag gents are weak, wimpy little men. They're not going to volunteer. Some of them will, absolutely, because there are a lot of red hats in the military. My ex is military, okay? I get that, but not enough of them. So they're gonna have to draft. So just bear that in mind, because I feel like that's something we need to talk about.
Wait, I have a serious question. If the United States drafts Americans, typically they would be drafting Gen Z, right? So who do they expect is going to fight this war for them? Because the majority of Gen Z doesn't support Israel. Like, that's kind of when you know you've reached the end of an empire, I guess you could say. I could almost guarantee that Gen Z would be fighting against Israel and the United States and helping out Palestine and Iran if they were drafted.
Who getting drafted? Who? Me? Hell no. I'm not doing that shit. Is you fucking crazy? I don't give a rat's ass if I'm gonna be considered guilty of treason or if I'm thrown in jail. I'm not fighting no fucking war for the United States. I'm not fucking doing it. Not in this lifetime. Hell no. You'd have to drag me out of this bitch with me screaming, hollering, crying, throwing up. And I'm still not going. I would kill myself before I ever hop on a motherfucking military base for the United States. Or just period in general. No disrespect to anybody who is in the military. I just know I'm not built for that shit. I'm not a war person. I'm not doing that shit. And you telling me that I'm drafted and I gotta go? I'm gonna look at that paper and I'm gonna rip that bitch up and throw it in the fucking trash. I'm not going. I'm not going. If that means that I'm gonna have to be thrown in jail so that Big Papa can make me his bitch, okay. I will gladly do that before I ever hop on the front lines of a dumbass war that, mind you, wouldn't even exist. Oh, let me not go into this right now. Yeah, so they can miss me with that shit. Pass that to the next person, because I'm not doing it. Wrong one. Not me. Sorry. Sorry.
I'm not dying for Israel. Fuck that. I will take the time in federal prison. I do not care. If it comes to a point where we have to get drafted and we are getting sent to the Middle East, lock my ass up.
I'm saying all these bullshit posters that you talking about some World War III this and draft this, and I'm gonna be real, I ain't going no motherfucking where. I don't give a fuck who you draft. Don't draft me. The shit that ain't got shit to do with me, cause I don't know what the fuck America want from a nigga like me, cause y'all already ripping us off from money schemes and all other shit. Now y'all trying to take a motherfucker in to help go to war for y'all fucking fight that we ain't got shit to do with. Man, fuck y'all.
I feel like if there was another United States military draft, 90% of the people drafted are not going. We're not fighting for this war that we have nothing to do with and that we really don't want to be a part of. Because what the...
Guys, I done got that call. You may know what that call is, but I ain't even gonna say it. But I got that call. They need me there effective immediately. It's going down. I literally jinxed myself. I didn't think this shit was for real. And they said they got no choice. So when I told you guys that I was about to be ABC News, this shit is real. I'm sure to broadcast all this shit. Mind you, I'm at work doing my due diligence, doing what I do. Talking to the buddies, and I get the phone call. I'm hello, mind you. This is not a saved number in my contacts. I'm hello, who this was? They said, yeah, this, who, we need you here, this, that, and the third. I hung up because why is you playing on my phone? And then I get a call for somebody that is actually known to be a contact on my phone. So I'm like, okay, this must be for real. The ass ain't playing. That said contact proceeds to say, why did you hang up the phone? Do you know who you just hung up the phone? No, you know what I'm saying? I'm like, no, I don't know who the hell that was. It's an unsaved number. And he proceeded to tell me who it was. My heart was in thy ass because thy ass was finna get kicked. They said, we need you here at this amount of time, on this date. Don't be late, bring your ass. It's about to go down. Me? Little old me. I was just at work, brother. I'm confused. Whole trajectory of my day, it just changed off of one phone call. That's how it gets. Shit, you gotta be waiting. Now I'm scared to the bit.
Shalom, welcome to another video, and as always, before I get started, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Heavenly Father and His only begotten Son, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachash, and next double honors to the head apostles / elder bishops of the Great Millstone who teach and who rule well. Peace, blessings, and safety to all you sincere Akim. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep the faith, regardless of what people hear or what they forbear. So this is going to be a reaction to the clip that I put in the introduction to this video about how they talking about drafting people. All right, and okay, the men here in America, all right, they don't want to fight. They don't want to go to war. Okay, and I don't blame them. I wouldn't want to go to war for this place. Okay, for a country that hates you. All right, a country where everything's completely out of order. All right, but ultimately, okay, they know that if they go off to this war that they're going to die. Okay, so they're scared. All right, and this is in the prophecies. It tells you, which we'll get it, okay, that the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have become as women. Okay, so anyways, that's the topic we're going to dive into. Okay, the fear that is coming across a lot of these young people because they're possibly going to be drafted into World War III. All right, and what the result of that is going to be, okay, for those that are not of the elect. All right, so let's go ahead and dive right into this topic. And Yahweh Rachazah, the Heavenly Father's will is edifying to the elect. Starting off here in Revelation, okay, chapter 11 and verse 14, it says, the second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. All right, and it's talking about 2 world wars. They've gone by, and the third one, which is the final, okay, the one that's going to end all wars, is the Battle of Armageddon, is fastly approaching, okay, and the whole world knows it. So we're going to read about what the result of this is going to be. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 51, and I'm going to start at verse 28. It says, prepare against her the nations with the kings of the Medes, the captives thereof, and all the rulers thereof, and all the land of his dominion. Okay, and when you read Jeremiah, starting off chapter 49, chapter 50, and then here in chapter 51, is going into the judgment of the daughter of Babylon, aka Babylon the Great, which is America. All right, so the kings of the Medes represents the rival of Babylon. Okay, in the ancient world, the Persians and the Medes were the ones that overtook Babylon. All right, under Belshazzar, I believe. Okay, so symbolically, spiritually, all right, the Medes today represents the ones who are going to overtake Babylon, which is Russia, China, North Korea, and Iran. And we see that the U.S. just entered into war with Iran. So the Lord is saying, prepare all the nations with the kings of the Medes against Babylon. It says, and the land shall tremble in sorrow, for every purpose of Yahweh shall be performed against Babylon, to make the land of Babylon a desolation without an inhabitant. That's how you know it's talking about modern day Babylon, not ancient. It says, the mighty men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Their might have failed. They became as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Okay, and that's the scripture I was referring to. All right, the men out of Babylon. Babylon at one point, America, okay, was a it still is a world power. All right, it still is, a military that the nations have been in fear of. But why are the nations not in fear anymore? Because Russia is backing them. All right, Russia is a strong opponent, all right, against America. Okay, and once again, it's going to be mass casualties on both sides. All right, but American young men, all right, they're not hard. They're not hardened the same way that young men are from Russia and China. So they don't want to fight. Okay, that's why you see all these videos like the ones in the introduction, all right, of young men saying, I'm not going to war. Okay, they're just flat out telling you, I'm not fighting for this country. It ain't happening. All right, so this is what it's talking about. The men of Babylon have forborne to fight. They have remained in their holds. Okay, they're gonna, they're gonna want to stay home, flee. A lot of them are gonna run. The guy was saying they're gonna have to. He said 90% of people who get them draft letters, all right, they're gonna dodge it. All right. Okay, it says they have become as women. They have burned her dwelling places. Her bars are broken. Why? It say they become as women because generally, when war breaks out, you don't have women that jump out to the front lines. Okay, women will be the ones to hide, and the men will be the ones to jump out and fight for their country and for protection of their women and children. But men are like, nah, we ain't doing that. Okay, that's why it says that they have become as women. Let's get another precept on that. Okay, another title for Babylon the Great is spiritual Syria, Nineveh. Okay, Assyria was one of the lands where the children of Israel were taken into captivity. Okay, so this is another spiritual alias for Babylon or for America. Okay, this is Nahum 3 and 5. All right, it says, behold, I am against thee, saith Yahweh, power of hosts, and I will discover thy skirts upon thy face, and will shew the nations thy nakedness, and the kingdoms thy shame. And I will cast abominable filth upon thee, and make thee vile, and will set thee as a gazing stock. So, okay, the world is beginning to hate the West. All right, starting off with America. Okay, the whole world is beginning to hate the West because of all they're pulling up all the receipts on all the things that the West has done around the world, and they're starting to say, the West is really the bad guys. America is really the villain in most people's story. All right, which is true. Okay, and that's another reason why the nations are sick of the big bad bully on the block. All right, now you have another big bad bully, Russia, that's saying, okay, let's all join together and we're going to take this one down. And that's essentially what's happening, and everybody can see it. I'm going to skip down, okay, to verse, let's see. I'm going to skip down to verse 11. It says, thou also shalt be drunken, thou shalt be hid, and thou also shalt seek strength because of the enemy. Okay, because even though America is a world superpower, all right, and arguably the world superpower, all right, they know that America knows that it would have mass casualties and major destruction going up against Russia alone, or going up against China alone, but fighting against them two together. And then you add in North Korea, you add in Iran, all right, you add in all the other countries that are going to join against Babylon. And what is a representative of this? The BRICS nations. Okay, the BRICS nations have pretty much, the whole purpose of it, all right, is to oppose the Western petrodollar, all right, the United States petrodollar, which that's the reason why America has so much power, is because, most international transactions are done using American, United States of American money. All right, but that's going to change. So they first started off the rebellion economically, but it is turning physical. Okay, and eventually it's going to turn nuclear. That's prophesied. So they're going to seek strength because of the enemy, because even though it's a superpower, okay, you put 10 different men, it doesn't matter how strong you are. Okay, if 10 men come against you all at once, all right, you're going to have a hard time. Okay, you're going to take major damage. Okay, and that's what's getting ready to happen. It says, all thy strongholds shall be like fig trees with the first ripe figs. If they be shaken, they shall fall into the mouth of the eater. All right, meaning complete and total destruction. All right, imagine like a animal with his mouth wide open, like a hippo or something. All right, and he's standing under, a tree, and he starts shaking it, and all the fruit just falls into his mouth, and he just swallows them all down at once. That's what's going to happen pretty much to Babylon. Okay, complete and utter, devouring. Okay, verse 13, here's the point. All right, it says, behold, thy people in the midst of thee are as women. The gates of thy land shall be set wide open unto thine enemies. The fire shall devour thy bars. Okay, they're talking about sleeper cells here in Babylon the Great. All right, and you know, brothers making videos about that years ago. Okay, how they said like over 10 million. I did a video like over 10 million. I can't remember the exact stats. Over 10 million some people crossed. A bunch of them, they're really worried about the so-called Mexicans, when really Jake is not the threat. Okay, Jacob is not really the real threat. It's these other nations coming in. All right, you know, coming in from China, from Iran, you know, different African nations. Okay, because a lot of these nations, they hate the West. All right, and they're going to be the ones that there's going to be war here on American soil. All right, spoiling not only civil war, but you have, like I said, you have a lot of people here, all right, that hate America, because you got to understand, America, Babylon the Great, has been destroying nations for decades. So you have the children of these families that were destroyed in their home countries. They're here, okay, and they're here with a vengeance. They want to see this place fall. All right, and not only that, you have that, but you have these men are come from war-torn countries, and then you have American men that are so soft and cuddly, all right, and they don't want to fight. Okay, and personally, I don't blame them, because I wouldn't fight for a country that hates me, and I wouldn't fight for women that hate me. American women, okay, most of them are extreme, you know, feminists, man. Okay, they really hate men. They believe they're superior to men. I'm not dying for once again a bunch of arrogant, proud people, and especially not women. Okay, I'm just not doing it. All right, if it's a woman that I love, that's different. I put my life on the line for an individual that I love, but as a whole, all right, most men don't care about the society anymore because there's no incentives to this society, all right, for men. Okay, and a lot of that has to do with the women. Okay, so what are they gonna do? All right, it's pretty much gonna be a free-for-all. All right, and not only that, like I said, you have sleeper cells here, but Americans are divided amongst themselves. Okay, Americans don't even want to fight for Americans, because you have half, you know, or I wouldn't even say half, but a minority really that voted for, you know, the orange man. And then you have a lot of Americans that say we don't want nothing to do with this. So the country is divided. So it's just gonna be flat out chaos, man. Okay, and that's according to prophecy. All right, but this video is mostly about the draft. All right, men they don't want to fight. They don't want to go to war. Okay, because they understand that if they go, that's it. They ain't coming back. All right, and that's in the prophecies. Okay, like I said, why would you want to go and die? All right, for a country that hates you. All right, this country has made it so bad for the future generation. There's nothing to look forward to. There's nothing to hope for. All right, the people are destroyed. Okay, the jobs don't pay anything. Everybody's, for the most part, living check to check. They taking away retirement. Okay, they raised the retirement age to where you only have a couple of years. All right, they took away, you know, pensions and all kind of stuff, man. So people, they don't want to fight for that, man. Okay, there's nothing to fight for. There's really no incentives. All right, and like I said, the people. Okay, when I say people, I'm particularly talking about women. All right, young men in this society are treated like crap. Okay, they're hated. So why would they fight for a country? Why would they fight to protect a bunch of women that hate them? It just ain't happening. All right, Isaiah 34:1. Come near, ye nations, to hear, and hearken, ye people. Let the earth hear, and all that is therein, the world and all things that come forth of it. For the indignation of Yahweh is upon all nations, and his fury upon all their armies. He hath utterly destroyed them. He hath delivered them to the slaughter. Their slain also shall be cast out, and their stink shall come up out of their carcasses, and the mountains shall be melted with their blood. And all the hosts of heaven shall be dissolved, and the heavens shall be rolled together as a scroll, and all their hosts shall fall down, and as a leaf falleth from off the vine, and as a falling fig from the fig tree. For my sword shall be bathed in heaven. Behold, it shall come down upon Idumea, and upon the people of my curse to judgment. So, really, no matter what, okay, the Lord, he's going to make sure those nukes hit, because this is a part of the curse of the wicked. Okay, he's going to drop nukes on Idumea, all right, which Idumea is a Greek way of saying Edom. Okay, the Edomites, and their chief headquarters is America. So this place is going to be completely wiped out. Okay, as the prophecies say over and over concerning Babylon the Great. It says, for the sword of Yahweh is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and of goats, and the fat of the kidneys of the rams. For Yahweh hath a great sacrifice in Bozrah, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea. All right, so there's going to be a great slaughter. There's really no way to escape that. Okay, unless you're of the elect, which we're going to get that now. Okay, but everybody else cooked. All right, and that's what's coming. Okay, war is what's coming. But Yahweh is going to deliver his elect. This is Job 5:17. Behold, happy is the man whom the Most High correcteth. Therefore despise not thou the chastening of the Almighty. For he maketh sore, and he bindeth up. He woundeth, and his hands make whole. He shall deliver thee in 6 troubles, yea, in 7 there shall no evil touch thee. In famine he shall redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Thou shalt be hid from the scourge of the tongue, neither shalt thou be afraid of destruction when it cometh. At destruction and famine thou shalt laugh, neither shalt thou be afraid of the beasts of the earth. For thou shalt be in league with the stones of the field, and the beasts of the field shall be at peace with thee. And thou shalt know that thy tabernacle shall be in peace, and thou shalt visit thy habitation and shall not sin. Thou shalt know also that thy seed shall be great, and thy offspring as the grass of the earth. Thou shalt come to thy grave in full age, like as a shock of corn cometh in his season. Okay, but the main part, he's going to deliver right here in verse 20. In famine he should redeem thee from death, and in war from the power of the sword. Okay, and that's what's coming is war. All right, World War III, race wars, class wars, civil wars, economic woes, just flat out woes, sorrows, mourning, and lamentation. That's what's coming. All right, but okay, that's for the people of the world. All right, the elect is going to be rejoicing in this time because Yahweh righteous will be part of that number, is going to receive divine protection and understand that, hey, this is it. Okay, we're about to be out of here. This is the great deliverance that's coming for us. All right, so that's pretty much it. Just want to go into this topic, the draft. All right, you see, okay, the men are saying, we ain't going, we ain't fighting. Okay, these young men, they don't want to go to war. And I don't blame them, because if you go, you ain't coming back. All right, you ain't coming back from this, man. This place is through, it's finished, and this is the beginning of the end for them. Okay, their end, our beginning. So we got a lot to look forward to, a lot to be excited about. I'm going to close it out there. Heavenly Father's will. It was edifying as always. I'm going to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachweash. And until next time, Shalom, and abide the ball.